Next step is to create the blend shape for the when the scope comes down, the echo scope comes down to the lower portion here. It really gets buried there. Okay, so I'm going to get the blend shape window up here. Let's see, window, shape editor, and going back, I'll leave that at 0 there. Um, okay, so that's where we were. I'm going to take the stomach again, and I'm going to duplicate it again, and move that duplicate just a little bit to the right of the other. All right, now it's kind of hard to keep everything here so you can see it all at once. See if I can manage to do it like this. Okay, so let's get the scope. We're holding at 320, the 340, and now we're moving, and we get down to 400. And I want to make sure I'm right at 400 or 398. See, I would have made the wrong keyframe there. And now I want to edit this further. So now what I'm going to do is take this face, move it down, maybe move this face down. You can see I'm actually starting to see the other side of the stomach, so I can move them down and back as well. Now, if you think this is a little too extreme, which seems like in this case I may be going a little too extreme, you can always decide earlier, okay, I'm going to position either the CVs or the curves so that it's not quite so necessary to get quite so extreme here. I'm finally getting the scope out. I think now what I'm actually doing is pushing it into the pancreas. That's what that bulge right there is. So I'm going to release the pancreas just so I can push it out of the way a little bit. Okay, and now I've got the scope. Pressing pretty hard there, but at least we've got the idea. Okay, so let's see if we can work this now to make another blend shape. So again, the second is my target. This is still my base. I'm going to say create blend shape deformer, and I'll rename this bottom. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't need to rename that. I need to rename this. Rename this bottom. Let's call it stomach bottom. All right, so if it worked, what I can do is come back up. I can go in both places. So now I have control for both sets. Okay. So with the base selected, I can see where this is my top targets. These are the ones we've set. From my scope, I know I want to go from back up, but first let's go. So we've come from here to here. So when we got down here, we want to be keyed here. We're pushed all the way out of the way. The depression, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that the stomach is depressed by the scope. And like I said, this is really pretty exaggerated, but at least you can get the idea, and you can be a lot subtler when you do yours. Other thing, I want that top to come back a little bit. So I could make the top come back just a little bit. And do that. Alright, so now I've come from up here. Now when I'm up here at the top, I've got a keyframe there. I want to make sure I'm at the right keyframe. There we go. I'm keyframe there at 0. Now the stomach at the bottom should not be depressed at all, so I put that back. Alright, so at 320, 340, everybody should be the same. Bottom again should be all the way up, holding it. Okay, now as we come down, the bottom is depressing. Okay, so we've got a little bit of the same problem we had before. See right here, I'm not quite getting enough. Let's see what I can do. If I can expedite just a little bit more. Okay, key that. So now we can get, okay, and then here we're coming back up. Alright, so what happens now? So we get down here, we stay here for a second, start to come back up. So let's say right about here, we want to start making that bottom and top both change, and then by the time I get to 500 or 499, I want to make sure that the bottom is all the way out and the top should be all the way in. So I think we've got it now. So let's see, we come over, let's come in, begin to depress, start pushing down, begin to push back up. A little bit buried right there. I wonder if I can change that a little bit. Okay, hold that just for a second. That. There we go. Right here, I feel like I should be coming up further. There we go. So you can adjust those in any way you want to get that idea. So scope down, pushes down on the tissue, scope back up, reverses. And then at this point, this is where I'd make the needle come in.